there, welcome to episode 164 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to listen to the most interesting video game music there is. Some games have poetic titles that provoke thought. Others, though, are completely on the nose. But sometimes, even when a game's title is as completely descriptive as can be, it doesn't fully cover the depth that lies within. Today's game is one such experience, and a game that everyone who loves music should absolutely play. Don't touch that pink stuff, because tonight we listen to the music of Just Shapes and Beats. Matt.
Hey, Kris.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. It's definitely going.
Glad to hear it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, that's trust me too.
Oh boy, I'm very excited about this episode, and I'm glad we're doing it when we're doing it because just a few months ago, my son discovered this game and became completely obsessed with the soundtrack. So it got really overplayed in my house. But the music is so good, I'm already ready to jump back in and listen to it again because this game, it's really something. I think this is going to be a super fun episode. So, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Hit us with some history.
Certainly. Just Shapes and Beats released on PC and Switch worldwide on May 31st, 2018. with other platforms following suit a year later. The game is quite literally exactly what's in the title, just shapes and beats, but it utilizes these shapes and songs to tell a surprisingly effective story while providing some remarkably visually stunning set pieces. You play as a small square that has to avoid attacks from various enemies and environments that are all set to complex rhythms that match each level's song. Your job is to rid your worlds of an evil that is corrupting the land through the power of music. It quickly became a cult favorite among rhythm game fans, and is one of the most unique examples of the genre on the market today.
The music of Just Shapes and Beats is actually comprised mostly of a number of pre-existing EDM tunes by various artists, but there are also a handful of original tracks created specifically for the game by Danimal Cannon, whose other works include Proton Pulse, Jump Jet Rex, and Apocalypse Baseball, none of which I've ever played, but very curious about Apocalypse Baseball.
I gotta be honest with you, I haven't even heard of all three of those.
Yeah. So, Matt, do you have any personal history with this game?
No, sir.
Okay.
I literally only know the name, and I thought probably what everyone else thinks is, I wonder if it's just shapes and beats.
It is indeed. Everything is made of very simplistic shapes that they use to draw characters, monsters, and it's all very abstract. It is one of the... It's hard to call it a rhythm game, because while everything that happens is set to the rhythm of the songs, and in fact, every note that's played in a given song can, and sometimes is, an attack, you do not move to the rhythm. Your entire existence is dodging. You can move freely in any direction, and you can press a button to do a dodge move where you're temporarily invincible. And that's the entirety of the gameplay for you, is doing this dodging and trying to find where safety is going to be. You are a little blue square, and the screen is black, and everything else that shows up is pink. And you have to avoid everything that's pink. Now, the pink stuff will fade in, so you can, this is where this is going to be. This is where this attack is going to be. On some of the larger attacks throughout the game, so you can see kind of where you're going to go and where your safe zone is, because when you do the dodge, you do this quick little dash forward, right? So you're invincible while you're dashing, but you need to make sure you don't land somewhere where you're in danger.
Sure.
So you have to pay attention to the rhythm, because everything that happens in the stages is set to the music. But you yourself aren't moving to the rhythm, and if you do move to the rhythm, chances are you're going to get destroyed. So it's a really interesting take on the whole rhythm game genre. But it, like I said in the intro, it tells a heck of a story. It's not like a complex story. It's just what's being shown is so very effective. I never thought I would care so much about a couple of simplistic shapes as I did when playing this game. But the music elevates it to such a crazy degree. It's really one of the most memorable and impressive and amazing games I've played in this generation of truly amazing games.
Yeah,
I can't I can't tell you how much fun I've had with the Switch as opposed to game consoles since I was a kid. And a lot of these independent games like this, like Sayonara Wild Hearts, or even stuff like Blaster Master Zero, it's run the gamut. And these indie titles like this have really, some of them have just impressed me to an insane degree. And I can't wait to share this music because it's really cool.
I'm excited. I love a game. I found that games that are, beat based, rhythm based, have some of the best soundtracks because I think they kind of have to.
Yeah, it's a musical showcase.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
All right, well, the first track we're going to listen to is called Corruption by Danimal Cannon and Zeph. It's a little bit of a longer song because this is the original version of it. The level itself in the game is a bit shorter. And this is your tutorial stage, basically. So it starts off very simple, and if you try to visualize in your head, every note at the beginning of it, while it's extremely simple, is creating a pink dot that is coming that you have to dodge. And it's pretty simple to start, and then as the music picks up, remember every single note of the song from any instrument can be an attack. So it's really wild to kind of visualize what this is without watching an actual gameplay footage. So this is Corrupted from Just Shapes and Beats. Enjoy.
Wow.
So that was Corrupted from Just Shapes and Beats, and that is what you're in for.
Oh, that's great, because the first thing that comes to mind immediately is a group I love called the Glitch Mob. And they're very much in the electronic beats and, techno, EDM-esque. They started just before the EDM takeover of the pop charts and stuff. But there's actually a couple of sound effects, or I should say synthesizer effects, used in that particular track that are very reminiscent of a very particular song from the Glitch Mob. Needless to say, I absolutely love this. For a second, I forgot I was listening to the soundtrack to a video game and not, some like extended Glitch Mob track of some sort that I hadn't heard yet. This was really good. And then to your point about, keep in mind that every sound in this game is a potential attack. I'm just like, oh my God, I need to play this game right now. I while we were listening, I looked up some visuals. I'm definitely not familiar with the game, but I think I'm based on that one song alone. I think I'm about to just go buy it.
Oh, it's you should. I think it's pretty cheap too. It goes on sale a bunch. It's because it's been out for a while, and it's a freaking masterpiece. It is a freaking masterpiece. I just can't say more than that. I friggin' love this tune. I love the version in the game is like a minute and a half.
Yeah,
because it's just the training. But you can hear that this song is such a perfect thing to train on a game like this, because it starts off with just like the little tiny dots, and then it just builds and builds and builds, and it just kind of teaches you that generally, all right, this is what you got to do. It's going to keep getting crazier. It's never going to stop being crazy. So just be prepared. Just be prepared for everything. Learn the language of the game, and eventually you can get through it. And it's a very abstract to start, right? There's a happy world. There's some sort of triangle thing that I guess powers the world or something. There's some sort of triangle thing that gets stolen, and with the attempt to become corrupted, and that's kind of the basic story. So you go after the triangle thing to try and stop it from getting corrupted. So after you finish the training stage, you move on to, which I'm pretty sure this is the second stage in the game. It's called Milky Ways, and it is by someone called Boss Fight. I don't know a lot about the artists, but it's Milky Ways by Boss Fight, and it is it's not as long as Corrupted. And nothing else today will be as long as Corrupted. Don't worry there. But this is fun because it's I'm pretty sure it's the second stage, and it is faster. So it's like kind of, now that you've learned how to do this to that beat, let's see what you can do faster. So here is Milky Ways by Boss Fight. Enjoy.
Okay. Okay. So that was very much like what we would have called like happy house, happy hardcore, some GABA, that like just constant doom 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 doom, very dense kick. But that middle portion, that towards the end portion where it just stops and it just takes that like slow doom. Woo, that was something else. I didn't expect, because I mean, like, the song's an onslaught, right? Which I'm sure is the whole point of the game.
Oh yeah.
But then to take that kind of pull back for a moment, I imagine if I was playing, I'd be like, oh, finally, there's a little respite. Nope, just kidding.
That's the other thing that this game does with music is like when when the music calms down sometimes and you think it's a respite, it's actually even harder because you'll get a lot of times you'll get it where it's like, oh, well now, all right, so for this song, for example, you get that part where it's just like do 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 do, right? And it's very calm. But every single one of those notes is another dot that's slowly creeping across the screen from every angle. It's not like it's just coming in from a wave. They come from the top, the bottom, the sides. They come from everywhere. And you're like, oh no, where do I go? Where's safe? Okay, there's a little space there. You need to dash there and dash there and dash there. It's
very asteroids-like.
Yeah, very asteroids-like, except you can't shoot the asteroids.
No, yeah, right. Yeah, at least in asteroids you can fight back.
Exactly. Yeah, you got no attacks in this one. But oh goodness, I love that song. That's that main melody gets stuck in my head a lot whenever I think about this one. Putting together this track list was incredibly hard because there is nothing but phenomenal music on this game. There's not a single song in here that I wouldn't recommend listening to. Including some really great DLC stuff. There are some just remixes of music from Undertale and Shovel Knight on there.
Oh, wow, okay.
That are just, they made for this game for the DLC. There was also bonus tracks that aren't part of the story, including the Mortal Kombat movie theme. You can play a stage.
Oh, no.
That, which is so awesome. There's so much good in this game. And that song, Milky Ways, rules. But at that point, at the time I listened to this, I was like, okay, this is a really good game. I'm going to like this. This next track here is where I officially fell in love with this game.
Okay.
This song is called Long Live the New Fresh by Danimal Cannon. This is the first boss stage. This is one of the coolest songs I've ever heard in my life. And so this is where the boss gets the triangle, or at least you start to see what it's doing. It's turning into some sort of monster. And towards the beginning of the song, you will know exactly the part where he starts consuming power and then becomes a thing, and then the rest of it's just all about attacking you. So this is Long Live the New Fresh by Danimal Cannon. Turn it up and enjoy.
Oh man. Holy cow.
So remember what I said about every note being an attack?
Yeah.
That part where it breaks down? Every single one of those is some sort of crazy laser that spans the screen, or when it, fades up and down, it like you have to like dodge from top to bottom, then bottom to top, like it gets nuts. It's all goals.
My Switch is on the other side of the room, and I'm like I was trying to figure out when I could get up and grab it and buy this game. I'm ready to buy it. Like, wow. This is okay, on a music level, right? Say what you will about EDM, and I know a lot of people of a particular age were not a fan of it, right? I, on the other hand, I love electronic music, and I dig all of it. But say what you will about it, it has the ability to tell a story, and right in that onset, there's that synthesizer that goes from low, and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And the funniest thing about EDM I've always noticed is that everyone's waiting for the payoff. They want the drop. The joke was about the drop, and it would always be the whoa, 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 drop, right? But it's the same thing here. How much higher is this going to go? How many, how high is this these frequencies going to climb? When are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? And then the payoff is so great. But it's the story, it's the build, it's the anticipation. It's really, really good, and I think EDM's very, very good for that. It's one of the few, I think, styles of music that can pull that off seamlessly. Effortlessly is the word, actually. Effortlessly.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm as well versed in EDM as I probably should be. I mean, I know some, and I very much enjoy it. But yeah, I 100% concur with everything you said. I would love this song even if I hadn't experienced it through the game. That said, like, everything is so pretty and peaceful before this thing starts to take over that you really feel animosity towards it, and you really feel that sense of dread, like in that part in the beginning where he's building. It's like it's an abstract thing with a dot in the middle, and then that dot becomes an eye, and then that eye becomes two eyes, and then like right when the beat first kicks in after that build-up part, he spouts two arms and starts punching to that rhythm. And it's just oh my god, it is so effective. It's effective. It's destructive. It's awesome in the most literal sense of the word. It inspires awe. This whole game is really just something to behold. So, yeah, let's keep going.
Yes.
This next song is called "New Game" by Nitro Fun. This, I believe, is the second time you encounter the actual boss character, and this song. This is one of those songs that you listen to and say, how did they get away with using all of these video game songs without paying royalties for them? And I think it's because they're such short clips. But there are a lot of video game references in this song, and they correspond to different actions that the boss does during this boss fight that are very amusing. So here is New Game by Nitro Fun. Enjoy. Pals, new game by Nitro Fun.
Dude, this is so intense.
So like,
I love it.
When the Mario pipe sound effect happens,
Mm-hmm.
he creates a pipe at the bottom of the screen and goes into it. When the Pac-Man sound happens, he creates a line of dots, and then Pac-Man chomps them across the screen really quick. It's genius. The whole thing's genius. The song itself is genius. It's so good.
You know, again, it's hard for me not to talk about the EDM aspects of it. You know, it's music created by EDM musicians. It's fantastic. It's got everything, you know, you could want in that sort of style of music. It's so good. And then you know, as we're listening, I'm looking up little playthroughs and looking at the visuals and stuff, and it really, really works in a way that you wouldn't think. But the animation is so slick and smooth, and it just how do I put this? It just works so well together. It just sings. I don't know. I can't come up with any more words to say like how just plain cool this is.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. I love it with all of my heart. All right, let's keep going. So this next this next song's called Termination Shock by Saber Pulse. And at this point, we're just kind of like rolling through with stages, you know, where there's a whole storyline. I'm not going to wreck anything, go about in the details from song to song now until we get towards the glory that is the whole final boss encounter. And so, yeah, this one's called Termination Shock. It rules because they all rule. It's by Saber Pulse. Enjoy. right, that was Termination Shock by Saber Pulse. And one of the things I wanted to try and do with this collection of songs for the rest of the episode until we get to the boss fight is showcase the different kinds, I guess the different flavors of EDM that they have going through the rest of this, because like that has a different vibe, at least for me personally, than the other ones that we listen to. It's not on the surface more chill, but there's something about it that's a little bit more chill than I think the other ones. It's still masterful, just ridiculously cool. And like when you're playing the stage, obviously those like sounds, those are like giant screen filling like attacks that you have to like, okay, that's that side of the screen, then that side of the screen, it's just off limits. Okay, good times. But yeah, I really like this song. This is another one that just really stuck out to me when playing the game, of being like, that was a really cool, like, it's obviously very intense, but it also somehow pulls back to having just a really good groove, which is different from, I think, the other ones that we've listened to that have just been all intensity all the time.
Right. I could definitely see that. There is a certain level of groove to this one, as you mentioned, compared to previous tracks, which are really pulse pounding. It's more about like the kick and the heavy synthy bass and stuff. This one definitely has a bit more melody. I think it's a bit more I hesitate to use the word intricate, but I definitely think it feels like there's a lot more care put into this, and maybe it slows down a little bit. You know, the pace isn't as breakneck as maybe one or two of the other ones we've previously heard, but still another good track. It's good to have dynamic, because I would imagine that the track previous to this, if we listened to a full game of that, you would be fatigued.
You'd just be exhausted, yeah.
Yeah, your ears would be fatigued. You as a person, as a gamer, would be fatigued. You'd have to put it down. Oh, I can't play this I can't. So yeah, absolutely. I definitely can see that.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So far I'm definitely enjoying this.
Yeah, this is really something. All right, this next one's really cool. This one's called Dubwoofer Substep by right. What a great title. It's by Omnitica. I don't think it's called it's pronounced Omnitia. I feel like that would be spelled differently. I'm gonna say Omnitica. But yeah, Dubwoofer Substep, great title. Really cool song. Again, a pretty different vibe from what else we've listened to so far. So enjoy.
Extreme amount of bass. Listener's discretion is advised. because of the extreme amount of bass. Listener's discretion is advised.
Subwoofer Substep by Omnitica. Again, I believe that's how that's pronounced, and I love that one is so... It alternates between being like just gorgeous to just insane. That one brings me a lot of joy. How'd that one strike you?
One of the things I enjoy about that tempo of dubstep and electronic music is they don't sacrifice texture for tempo, right? Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of the fast stuff, it's so potentially like blistering speeds that you don't get to notice some of the textures in the synthesized portions. So for this particular one, I mean, I love this tempo. I actually really love this tempo for this style of music, because it allows the creator and the listener to really get caught in some nice grooves, which is definitely in this piece of music, right? But what I like the most is the sample sounds, the synth sounds, and even the drums themselves are so big. They use reverb so well to create these big spaces for these synthesizers and drum samples to exist in, that it makes it, even though it's a slower tempo, the groove and the track just feels so big, so big.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to be at a festival with 30,000 people, except for the fact that I don't want to be around 30,000 people, but I digress, right? But it makes me want that. It makes me want to be in a dark nightclub in New York City, from my youth, and just head banging along, and that's a really good piece of music right there. That so far might be among my top 2, top 3.
Yeah, it's definitely one that sticks out to me too, and the way they use the music in the stage is really cool too. Very Rain inspired, if I'm remembering it right.
Okay.
Which really tracks with the music. It's extraordinary. I freaking love it. Freaking love it.
Freaking love it.
All right, this next one is another one by Boss Fight. This one's called Commando Steve, and I like it a lot. It seems very
I like its name.
Commando Steve. It's got a very retro video game feel to it. Again, just kind of showcasing a slightly different style than what we've heard so far. So here's Commando Steve by Boss Fight. Enjoy.
Ooh, I like that ending.
Yeah. Commando Steve by Boss Fight. Killer song. I like how the beginning sounds such like a, I don't know, like some retro war video game or something, and then it just kind of takes off from there. It's, love it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Because there's two things I haven't touched on that I keep meaning to touch upon. First is definitely the sampling of, to go back to the couple songs previous with the Pac-Man, the Mario. That's just cool. I don't care. It might be, some people might think it's hack or what. I don't care. It's cool. It just sounds cool. And then to take it a step further and create some kind of 8-bit, 16-bit sound effects, chiptune-y perhaps, to tie into this more modern electronic music is brilliant. And I think it's a perfect bridge, if not marriage, between the two items, the idea of a video game versus modern electronic music, which is to say a modern video game, at any rate, I think that's amazing. But then I also really, really like when electronic musics have samples of, whatever dialogue, and that one song back, dub woofer,
the extreme amounts of bass.
yeah. It's funny because I like that stuff. As long
as it's not overused, I love it.
Correct.
As long as it's used properly. I think we talked about that on the
yes.
Which game was that? The Jet Set Radio, I think, was
right.
Jet Grind Radio. We talked about that.
Right, exactly. But I also like it too when it's very much like pointing at the song, right? Extreme amounts of bass, and then also you get walloped with this, dubstep bass and this, aggro bass and stuff. It's great. So, Commando Steve has a little bit in there too, a little dialogue, and it's just great. So, yeah, man. So far, so good. I'm really, 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 really digging this. By the way, I snagged up my Switch and I downloaded the demo.
Oh, excellent! I forgot there was one. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Switch across the room now, and I'm like, all right, how much longer we got? I'm gonna play. No, not at all. But yeah, it's great so far. I'm digging it, a lot of it.
Well, to this next one, this is called "Try This." It's by Pegboard Nerds, and the stage, if I'm remembering the whole stage correctly, the stage is I might be mixing this up. At the very least, the beginning of this stage is James Bond themed. But I feel like there's also a factory element to it in this same stage. I might be mixing it up. But either way, this song freaking rules. It's called Try This, Enjoy. That song's so darn cool.
When you said James Bond, I didn't really think much of it, but there's like I don't know how to explain it, but when you tell someone like, oh, it's very James Bond, you know what it is, and I think it's got to be in the string section and stuff. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, try this on for size. Like, just great. It's just great.
Yeah, it starts off with like, you know, the way the James Bond movies start off with the looking through the scope or whatever.
Yes,
it starts off kind of like that, and then it just takes off from there. Man,
there's even a bullet. There's even the bullet that you hear, like the quote unquote silenced bullet. No, that made me laugh.
Oh,
to catch
gracious.
that. That's so good.
This song's just so out of control cool, man. I freaking love this tune. I couldn't remember the name of it either. Like, and obviously there's that voice in there. Let's try this on for size, but I couldn't remember the name of it. Like for a couple of days, and I'm like skipping through the soundtrack, and like for some reason I couldn't find it, and I had to ask John, my son. It's like, John, what's the James Bond level called? He's like, oh, it's called Try This, Dad. I'm like, thank you.
That's why we have kids, right?
That's why I have kids, to remember the stuff we forget. Okay, we're on to the last 3 songs, and these are all very connected.
Okay.
The next song is called Final Boss, which is the start of the Final Boss sequence of stages. It is and it isn't the final boss.
Sure.
Oh boy, this is a kind of a long song. Not as quite as long as Corrupted. It's actually, in fact, it's exactly 1 minute shorter than Corrupted, but it's still pretty beefy. This is where you really start the final countdown in earnest, and this is I remember. You ever have one of those experiences when you're playing a video game and you just have to stop and think to yourself, "This is so cool." This was one of those moments, because you'll kind of hear it towards the beginning of the song where the song starts taking off and you're chasing after this. You're climbing this. I don't know if you're climbing a tower or you're above the tower and you're flying into space or something, but you're flying in this segment and it's going by extremely fast. And you have to keep dashing just to keep up with the camera, which makes it especially challenging, because
one of those levels.
There are all these monsters that are like trying to grab you from the sides, and it keeps getting narrower and narrower. But you can hear in the beginning like where the song starts to soar towards where you're eventually getting to. This is just an amazing piece of music. It's called Final Boss. It's by Nitro Fun, and enjoy. That was Final Boss by Nitro Fun.
That was a hell of a ride.
Oh, man.
I like the fight sound.
Oh, yeah. The Mortal Kombat voices in there. Just, Also, the Mario... This fireball sound was in there a couple of times, which is like
I caught that in a track or two prior as well.
Yeah. Oh boy. This stage, this whole battle, like you start flying up towards the top when it first does that melody, the da, 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 da. And then when you get there, he's made this thing has become such a monster by this point. That pink thing that stole the triangle. Is now made, like, incorporated the triangle of power into this crown that's slowly being lowered onto his head when it's counting down. And they just,
awesome.
When the really deep, like, don't, like, as you can imagine, those are all just attacks coming at you, because this is a pretty brutal bout. And this song is just so killer. But yeah, I remember the first time playing this is definitely used the capture button on my Switch to record a video of the part where I was flying as quick as I can to try and like survive this. Like just playing this, being like, I cannot even believe how cool this is. When I was a kid, loving video games with every ounce of my being, never in my imagination could I have figured that video games could be this cool. And that's just how I felt about this situation here. Incredible.
It is super great that we've seen that evolution from, the old blocks of Atari to what we have now and its capabilities. And I am a big fan of the fact that there are a lot of third parties and AAA titles and even some major companies putting together, old pixel art games and some games that are more simple. And, as much as I love my first-person shooters and my massive multiplayer, team deathmatches and stuff, sometimes I'd like to pull back and just kick around with, like, a roguelite pixel art game, or something with simple mechanics, but easy to pick up, hard to master. Like, I'm a big fan of that sort of stuff, and this seems like one of those games. And then to have as much love and care put into it the way that this is coming across to me, someone who's never played it, especially hearing you talk about it too, it makes me think like this is clearly one of those masterpieces that shouldn't be missed.
Yeah, no, that is how I feel about it. This is, if you like music, you should play this game. At the very least, try the demo. It's free. Go for it.
Costs you nothing.
All right, so this next track here, the final boss has several parts to it. This is the last part of it, which is, as far as I know, it's darn near impossible to lose. However, getting to it is distressing.
I love it.
Every time you die in this game, and if you're like me, you will die a lot getting through this game. It is hard. But every time you die, the words "it's over" show up really big on the screen. And then you have to hit the button a couple of times, and the word "not" pops up in the middle. It's not over.
Ah, that's cool.
And it plays this really cool, exciting music, and it jumps you right back into the level. That goes out throughout the whole game. When you finally think you have defeated the final boss, he destroys you. Your little square shattered into a bunch of itty-bitty pieces. Absolutely demolishes you. Then you try to do the whole "it's not over" thing, and you press the button a bunch of times, and the "not" shows up, and then the boss shows up and destroys the word "not." And then you just sit there, shattered pieces on the ground, and it's like, at this point, it's like, wow, this is kind of heartbreaking. Like, what do I do? And then all the little characters that you met along the way show up and try to revive you to no avail. It's just, they're really sad over this shattered square, and it's like, this is awful. But the one other square that's part of the game that had these, you got him these two little triangles to put on his head. As this song starts picking up, he like uses him as a defibrillator and brings you back to life. And the game, and for one glorious stage, it becomes a scrolling shooter where you are basically invincible and you destroy the heck out of the last boss with just constant laser fire. It is amazing. So, this song is called Till It's Over. It has lyrics in it, which are not usually my favorite things, but like, I cannot begin to put into words how invigorating this song is when it shows up in the game and you just do everything that I just described. I'm not doing it any justice. I swear, if you play this game and you get to this point and you don't feel something here, then you're dead.
You're dead inside. And dead to me.
This song is called Till It's Over because it's not over till it's over. It's by Tristam, and it's so freaking cool. It's just one of the most empowering comeback songs I've ever heard in a video game. So enjoy it.
As I fell to the ocean floor, fading light through an open door, I saw myself rise with the water. And they thought they could keep me down, hold that breath and watch me drown, but all they did was push me higher. We don't care what they say, we will be here all day. We'll stay until it's over, till the world's out of sight. We will stand, we will fight. It's not over till it's over. Through the nights in the rain, through the time and the pain, the stand will never fall. And then at the end of it all, we will win, we will chant. It's not over till it's over.
Well, that is Till It's Over by Tristam. Yeah.
That's exactly you explained it pretty well about the most like uplifting song, and if the lyrics weren't there, the music is certainly triumphant. It's certainly that like comeback style of music that you would hear in some places and stuff. I agree with you. I'm not video game music. I'm not a big fan of lyrics vocals and lyrics. But this is done well.
There's not a lot of it, you know.
Yeah, it's nice and appropriate.
Yeah, I agree. It's I don't know. After seeing those words, after seeing it's not over so many times throughout this adventure, and then having even that reassurance just literally stripped away from you by this boss that has turned into this hideous monster by this point, and then to have it come back and the game tell you it's not over till it's over. It's like, I'm gonna kill this thing, because you've also watched this beautiful world and all these characters that you've met along the way, these just adorable happy-go-lucky things get destroyed and corrupted. And there's this one song that I really don't like in this. There's only one song that really bothers me in this, and it's a really good song, except it does the overuse of a vocal sample. It's called Close to Me. And it kind of helps that I don't love the song, because I hate the stage. Because number one, it's incredibly difficult, but it's also just really emotionally hard to get through, because this really happy little square thing that you've been helping out throughout the course of the game is being forcefully turned into a monster during the song. And like it's crawling across the bottom of this screen, just like begging to not be turned into a monster, and it's just being forcefully turned into a thing that's trying to kill you, and it's really hard to get through. And so getting to this point where it's just like this monster has beaten you as far as a video game could possibly show you've been beaten, and then to just like have this ability to come back and just utterly destroy it is one of the most memorable gaming moments I've had in probably in my entire life, definitely of this generation. It's really, really a remarkable combination of music and gameplay there that the developers of this game, I cannot thank them enough, and I really hope someday we get a sequel, because I want more, dang it.
Speaking strictly from the music, because obviously I haven't played it yet, I get a really good vibe from everything, right? It's something for me that I love. I do talk about it all the time, the total package of things. I feel so far just from the soundtrack alone that this is going to be something really special. And again, like I said, I've looked up, while we listened, I watched a little bit of gameplay. I've seen some stills, and again, you're talking about it really excites me. So I'm very excited to get my hands on this.
I'm very excited for you to do that very thing. All right, we've got one last song. This one is called Rainbow Road. It's by Nanobee, and I thought this would be a really fun way to end the episode, because this is the happiness song. This is it's an extremely joyful song, and it plays when you beat like an area in the game, like when you free an area from the corruption and things turn good again. It plays this song, and everything dances and has a wonderful time. Obviously, as part of the whole like boss showing you that it has defeated you as thoroughly as possible, this song starts playing and then gets completely interrupted. And it's marvelous. But this is the full version of the song. It's called Rainbow Road. It's extremely fun and happy. So just have a little smile on your face to finish off this episode. Enjoy.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver. Reaching out. history where I could stand and say, arithmetic begins here, now.
Rainbow Road from Just Shapes and Beats by Nano B, and that's got to be one of the joyous darn songs I ever did hear.
I'm not gonna fight you on that. It's got such a great feel to it. It's again back in that happy hardcore kind of GABA, very like kick snare, but the synthesizers, the main melody synthesizers, very like bright and upbeat. In contrast to that kick snare, it's great. And then of course Rainbow Road, like just love little things like that. It really makes it it breaks it up, it gives it a little dynamic, a little fun, little tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff, and I always appreciate that. So
yeah, it's definitely it's hard not to tap your feet to that one. It's just it just exudes this partyous, joyous and it comes with this huge sense of relief every time you get to a part where this shows up in the game, Mm-hmm. That's it's wonderful. And this game is wonderful, but that is it. That's our show. Yeah, this is this is a blast. It's exactly as fun as I expected it to be. My neck hurts from bobbing my head so much.
That's only because we're old.
That's true. That's a good point. Okay, that's our show. Join us next time when we will be listening to the music of The Messenger, which is
excellent,
awesome, because that is another one of my absolute favorite games of this generation, with a completely insanely good soundtrack. Also, Rainbow Dragon Eyes, who did the soundtrack to The Messenger, contributed a track or two to Just Shapes and Beats, and they are awesome, as you would expect.
That's what the kids call a tie-in.
Oh.
Hey-yo.
Yeah, I should have chosen one of those tracks. Anyways, yes. So the reason we're going with The Messenger is because in August, the next game from Sabotage Studios, who did The Messenger, Sea of Stars, is coming out. And Sea of Stars soundtrack is by, let me make sure I'm getting these names right, it's Yasunori Mitsuda of Chrono Trigger fame and Rainbow Dragon Eyes of The Messenger fame. The game is kind of a sort of prequel follow-up situation to The Messenger. It's all very interesting, and I thought it was a great excuse to finally do The Messenger because, well, we love that soundtrack. It won our best original song the year it came out because it's so freaking good, and I just finished replaying it myself, so it's fresh on my mind. So yeah, good times. The Messenger is up next. We here at the WaveBack Podcast are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you when we can. We have a couple of ways you can do that. There's the Geekade Discord channel, in which we have a WaveBack chat where we frequently discuss all manner of stuff relating to video game music and whatever our next episodes are going to be. Of course, you can always still send us an email at mail@geekade.com. And while you're at it, check out all our social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. WaveBack and other Geekade podcasts are made possible thanks to the Geekade Patreon page. There, patrons can get access to a monthly podcast topic and recording schedule, and get early access to most of Geekade's shows, including this one and more. If you've enjoyed our podcast over the years, follow the link in the description and give it a look. We really appreciate it. Finally, as always, be sure to keep... Hi, how are you? Finally, as always, be sure to check out all the other great original content we have on our site over at geekade.com. So, we're going to leave you with one more track. It's a loud one. It's by Let's Be Friends. It's called FTW. And this is the song that plays over the ending of the game, which is pretty wild. It's over the ending credits of the game where the monster comes back and DJs a party for you.
Which is the perfect way to say let's be friends.
It's pretty awesome. So
it's so good.
I can't recommend this game enough. Listeners, if you have enjoyed this music at all, please, please, please. It's on just about every platform. It is one of the most magnificent gaming experiences I've ever had. And I'm glad I got to share this with you. I'm glad you enjoyed it as much as you did, Matt. I knew you would.
Absolutely did. Yeah. You and I have been friends now for a while, and we've been doing music-related stuff together for just as long, and I think we both know each other's sensibilities to a lesser or greater degree, and you've nailed me on this one.
Yeah, I have been meaning to do this one for a while. I'm so glad it's done. So glad we're doing the Messenger next. Anyway, here's FTW. Have a wonderful time, and we'll see you next time.
But I just gotta know one thing. Are you ready? No! I said, are